Like an angel.
Hey everybody, this is Travis Lima here, and I am joined today on this webinar episode with none other than Jason and Kim Coleman. Hey Jason and Kim, how's it going over there?
We're great. We're in West Virginia at a cabin rental on a lake here near Harper's Ferry. Taking a little bit of a break away from the kids mostly. But doing some work here and chilling in the evening. It's nice.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, that sounds awesome. Thanks for joining me, even though you both away and stuff. I know that work always follows you wherever you go, kind of thing. So thanks for that. For those of you who are watching us live, welcome to today's webinar episode. Today is a Ask Us Anything webinar episode with Jason and Kim. Now, I do have a couple of questions lined up, but that doesn't mean that if you are currently watching, you can't drop us a question. We are live, so I can just pull in your questions as we go, and then Jason, Kim, or myself can just, answer it up for you. So, Jason and Kim, before we get going, let me just go ahead and share this from Kim. That explains the sharing of the headphones, lol, by Ken Kramer. Cool. There we go. Thanks for joining us, Ken. Cool. All right. So we have a couple of questions, and I think we can maybe just dive right in, unless you two have anything else you want to talk about, Jason and Kim.
Nope.
We're ready.
We're good.
You ready? Okay. Here comes the $1 million question, number one. Just kidding. Cool. Yeah. All right. So our first question coming in is from Mike Vaughn. And now Mike asked, I would like to know when the multiple membership per user will be fully integrated with Paid Memberships Pro. Several add-ons do not currently work with mmpu at the moment. And do you have any thoughts on this?
Do you want to take it?
You start.
Okay. That's a great question. For those who don't know, mmpu stands for multiple memberships per user. And it's, basically means what it says, that members on your site can have multiple levels. And it's useful for certain kinds of membership sites where maybe you're selling courses, so each course is a level, or you have, like a bunch of smaller groups that you sell individually, things like that. And it's the kind of thing that sounds simple to do, but then in software is very complicated. That once you break the assumption that there's one level per user, a lot of things break down with how we interact with other third parties, how we kind of do creative add-ons internally. So it's been a lot of effort on our part to get it working. So the way it works now, there's a standalone plugin called Multiple Memberships per User. It's an add-on for PMPro, available to Plus members. And so you can use that, and out of the box that works with all of the core Paid Memberships Pro functionality. But like Mike Vaughn, as his name points out, it doesn't work with some add-ons. So what you have to do now is, if you go to our website and look at the add-ons page for a specific add-on, most of the time we'll have a section there saying like, what is the mmpu compatibility?
I'm going to see if I can bring it up.
Pick one at random. Fingers crossed is one we have. I think there's probably some add-ons we don't have data. If there's an add-on and it doesn't say if it's mmpu compatible,
to check out,
then reach out to the customer support, and that'll ping us to update things. I'm trying to see your screen here.
I'm just going to zoom in.
Yeah, this one says compatible with the mmpu add-on. Mm-hmm. So basically, yeah, I'm skirting around it. He said, when's it going to be fully integrated? And the answer is, we don't really know. Our plan is to, some plugins it doesn't ever make sense to integrate. There's some plugins related to what you do at checkout that just won't work when you break the assumption there's only one level per user. Either it won't work, or it's kind of too complicated to figure out how that interaction would work. And that falls into the territory of, you need a custom developer if you're going to do sponsored members, for example, with multiple memberships per user.
So if it's that case, we will label the add-on page no.
Yeah.
So no doesn't mean
not
yet. It means probably not ever. The status that means possible in the future is pending. So if you see an add-on page and it says compatible with mmpu pending, that means that we're aware, we see a path forward for how they could be compatible, but they're not actively compatible right now.
Yeah. So that's the main effort of work that we have, that there's some plugins that we know how to technically make it compatible, but we just haven't done that work yet. And so based on demand and our schedules, we're working towards them. It's also open source software, so sometimes other developers are free to help out. If it's really important to you, you could hire a developer and have them work with us, and we could, kind of scaffold the work and say, here's the main 5 things to think about when making this compatible, and get it to work. So
I know that you occasionally will jump on a call with someone who's passionate that they require mmpu, and there's often a way to think about your membership site differently that circumvents even needing the mmpu plugin. So sometimes it's just a subtle tweak to how you structure your levels and how you structure your access that you don't need mmpu anymore. I know some people say, I have a basic level and then I have a premium level, but I want everyone who has premium to also get basic. So they think that user needs to hold both levels, when in reality, they just need to give the same access, content access, any type of access to both levels, and then they would inherently have multiple memberships, in a sense. So it's possible that someone's requirement for mmpu is possible with the add-ons as they are today, just by taking a step back.
Yeah. We have a blog post called the workarounds for multiple memberships per user, which was more important before we had that add-on developed. There was kind of a period of time where I promised, I was like, hey, in 3 months, we're going to have it in the core plugin. And then in those 3 months, we just realized how hard that was.
Yes.
And then it took us another year to build the add-on. And so in the meantime, we're like, hey, here are the workarounds, which is basically what Kim is saying. Sometimes you don't need multiple memberships. That's a good example. Is it could just be a tweak to your levels. It could be just profile fields, using profile fields to separate which users are which, or kind of clever use of combining the levels. We have a plugin called add-on packages, which if you just want to sell a single page access, you can do that to just lock down one page and also keep a record of, collecting extra money. So there's ways to get creative. And so that's something to look out to if you feel like, you must have a certain thing working with mmpu. So use the contact form, the support forms and contact forms, and ask, give it a go. It's free software. Most of these plugins are available to try. So try it out. You might be surprised it's already working. And if something you want to work isn't, we might have a workaround, or we'll just kind of tell you what the schedule is for getting that to work.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for that. I just want to see, there have been a couple of questions that are coming in. I see a question from David, and Marcus is sending in a few things as well. I will get to those questions in a bit. I just want to take this next one real quick, if you will, Jason and Kim. And I think this one Kim might jump on first. So let's see here. Cool. So Kim, this question came in, and I don't actually have the person's name on this one, but this member wrote into us, I want to create a member dashboard with information about past purchases, news articles, etc. Is there any thought given to allowing a more complex dashboard to be created via, for example, a WYSIWYG kind of setup? And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to let this scroll at the bottom. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Interesting.
Cool.
Okay.
Definitely. So we do on our site have an article about making I think the title is Making a Powerful Member Dashboard. That article breaks down 4 membership site types. One that's forum based, I think one that is content based, one that's downloads based, and maybe one events or videos. I'm not sure, but we were speaking about this previous to the video. Because the membership account page, which is kind of the hub for all of your members, is a standalone WordPress page, you can do a lot to add sections, using the Gutenberg block editor or a page editor of your choosing, to make that page richer for your members. So it's not something that we would build into Paid Memberships Pro, but it is very important. I think I kind of wear the hat of the UI front end person in this team. A lot of people do ask for, how can I show a member all the content they have access to, and things like that. So some combination of edits to that membership account page, using the block editor, the columns, headings, dividers, things like that to segment portions of the account page as you see fit, and then other plugins or other core WordPress widgets. There's ways to use widgets in the block editor. So WordPress itself comes with a load of recent comments, recent posts type widgets that you could place within this page content. So you could think about it, step back, think about what type of membership you're selling, think about what sections you want on that page, and then, find a WordPress plugin, find a way with core WordPress to present that content to your members. If the membership account page has to vary based on level, because it is only one page, so all members will see the same page, but they might be different levels and have access to different content. There's kind of two paths for that. You could place the content in the require membership block. So then you could still use that same single account page, but present different content based on level through that method. And then the other option is a plugin we have called Member Homepages, which was originally designed to boot people out of the standard site's homepage and send them to a customized kind of homepage landing page for their level. And this route would help you, design more specific level by level what you want to show them and what you don't want to show them, based on who they are and who they signed up as.
Yep.
So,
and the PMPro account shortcode and blocks, you can put that information on any page. So if you use that Homepages add-on, and every level has their own homepage, you can still put their account information on there if you want.
There's if you're using the block editor, there's a block called Membership Account. And on the settings of that block, you can toggle sections on or off, but there's also a block for each section. So there's a section called My Membership, and that is just to say, like, your membership level, name, the price you're paying, your expiration, and then some action links related to that. There's a section called Profile, which includes your name, your email address on account, and a link to edit your profile or to edit your password. There's hooks and filters in there to kind of adjust all of these sections, but the default sections are the ones I'm speaking to now. There's a section called Invoices. I think this question specifically said, I want to show them their past payments. So making sure that that section of the block is on, or that you're using the membership invoice block somewhere on the membership account page. That'll help people.
Fantastic. Cool. Thanks for that. So yes, there are many different ways to do and handle this kind of question, or to get the results that you want for a powerful membership dashboard. But I try to put in the links there, scrolling at the bottom. Check out paidmembershippspro.com/making dash, and then making powerful member dashboard membership account page. So just check that out. I'll also put it in the show notes down below that you can actually just reach out and view that and view all of that information. I just want to jump over to YouTube now real quick. So we've got a question that came in from Marcus Burnett. Marcus, a part of his question, he had a very interesting one here, but I just wanted to tackle this one real quick. So Marcus is asking, what are we using to run our live stream? I like the setup. So we are using a web app called Streamyard.com, and it allows you to add multiple people to a stream, share screens, and do a bunch of cool stuff. Definitely very nice. We use them for our daily live Travis's tip of the days and videos like that. So check out StreamYard. Very, very good web app. I'm going to jump over here to David James, who was before Marcus on the comment section. And David asks here, my members have a 30-day free trial period. How can I prevent people from canceling their membership on day 29, then signing up again with a new credit card and getting another 30-day free membership? Jason and Kim, have you got any thoughts around that for us?
This is a good question. There's kind of the direct answer in that scenario, and then a larger discussion around, the arms race to prevent abuse of trials and features on websites. But specifically, this is a feature that we'd like to make easier in the core plugin. When you're setting up the trial, just check a box like this trial can only be used once. Currently, what you have to do is use custom code to get this. We have an article on our website called how trial once.
Offer trial memberships that can be only
used once. Yeah, so search for that one. And the way and we should maybe edit the blog post. The way it is now, it assumes, and this is a good idea anyway, the way that blog post recommends is having 2 levels, a trial level and a full level. And so you offer a free trial. That's just the free trial level. And then there's a paid level that people have to upgrade to at the end of the 30-day trial. And there's a little bit of code that says, hey, if this person has already signed up for the trial, don't let them sign up again. You could make another version of that that basically changes the price for if you only want to use 1 level, that just changes the price. So, hey, if I've seen this user in the past, don't give them the trial price, charge them the full initial payment. So that's something you can do, through the code, you can restrict your trials to be used once, depending on how your trial is set up. And the bigger question of what can you do, because what happens is, like you said, they could use a different credit card, they could use a different email address, they use a different address. And some people get very caught up in how do I block these people who are abusing my website? And it can be really stressful. It's oh, let's block them by IP, let's block them by email, let's block them by credit card only used once. But what happens is when you get overzealous in your blocking, you block legitimate use of your website too. I use my same credit card to sign myself up, and I really like it. I'm going to sign my wife up as well. And it's oh, you already used that credit card. So now legitimate people who want to pay you are getting blocked out. Or I used a trial 6 months later, I forgot about it, and I trial again. That's a legitimate user that maybe would have trialed that you would have gotten. So an option here that I think a lot of people forget is you can manually reach out to them as a human and say, hey, please don't abuse my trial. Don't sign up again. And maybe not as nicely as that. Say, hey, the trial is only meant to be used once per the terms of service. I've canceled your account, and if you try again, my lawyer will be in contact with you. That doesn't make sense for a $5 a month membership, but some people who are selling, it's $2,000 a month to get into my secret club, people are really abusing it. It's if it's a small membership, just reach out to them. We do have ways to lock specific users from signing up again. There's a lock membership add-on, so it's called lock memberships.
Yeah.
So that's another tool in the toolbox. So yeah, it's kind of the specific question, we'd like to make it easier to check that box and say this trial is only available once. There's custom GIFs on our website to do it that we can help you set them up through the support forms. And the bigger battle of I always say focus on the customers who want to pay you rather than the ones who don't. And so you want to make sure that you're not getting, you want to handle it, especially if you have, a valuable service, or if you're shipping stuff or something like that. You don't want people to abuse your site. But you should make sure that you're focusing on the people who want to pay you instead of kind of how to force money out of these people who have shown you already that they're not interested in paying for your product.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for that, Jason. I will put a link to that article in the show notes as well. I'll get it up for us and then just put it in there. But like Jason said, there is an article with a code recipe, if you will, that shows you how to set up a trial level like that. Cool. Before I take on Marcus's question, I have a question that came in from email from Greg Robbins. So Greg, he's got 2 questions, but I'll just start off with his first one. And Greg says here, am I able to add members via your plugin manually? Examples, say, using the member list or another means. Now, this is also a couple of ways that you can do this. Have you got any thoughts on that, Jason and Kim?
There's a blog article that summarizes the variety of ways, so we should pull that up, or we'll post a link. Adding members as administrator or membership manager, I think, is the title of the article. So there's a few approaches, and some people forget the most obvious approach is to just log out of your admin account and join for them on the front end. And that's a very simple thing. It doesn't require any add-ons. It doesn't require learning a new interface. So you as admin could log out of your account, go through your checkout process. If you need to do it for free, that's a different story. But if you really just have their credit card or payment details and want to do it for them, you can always use your site on the front end to complete checkout.
Yeah. We've done that like at a conference
like a
where we have
event.
the laptop at the conference and we're like, I'd like to sign up. You're like, here, sign up right here, and like stand over their
Here's
shoulder.
my account.
You could imagine the same thing. You have someone on the phone and you're just typing the information in for them, and then they get the email. Yeah, go ahead.
Another method is on the edit user page in the WordPress admin. There's a section called membership level. So you as admin can see this section, adjust it for the user, set an expiration date. That would not link any payment to the membership. It would only give them the level for the duration or an unlimited time frame that you set. And then the third option is to use our Add Member Admin add-on, which has the option to generate an order. It will include the custom like profile fields that you need for that membership. And it's just a single page in the admin. Is it under the membership section, or it's under the membership, not the users section? And it's a single form that you would complete. Again, it does not capture payment information, does not set up a subscription at the gateway. It's not linked in any way to the gateway, but it would create an order. So this would be useful if you collect check payments by mail, or if you collect bank transfer payments via some other gateway that's not part of Paid Memberships Pro or a legacy system, that you could create the user's membership account and that invoice for them and have it sent to them optionally in one step.
Cool. Awesome. And then we also, I see here that we do have a import users from CSV add-on, which is maybe a little bit more for the kind of bulk membership options. If you want, go ahead and check out that add-on. There's a lot you can do with that. So if you have a bunch of members on a CSV, you can import them into Paid Memberships Pro using that method. So again, check out this. This article is called Adding New Members or Updating Existing Members as Administrator or Membership Manager Roles. So there's a bunch of information on that. Great, cool. I see that there is a lot of chatter in the comment section over on our YouTube channel, so I'm going to try and get to as many as I can. Next up, I have Marcus Burnett, who asks, do you all have any thoughts about LearnDash adding membership functionality? I assume there are a number of PMPro LearnDash sites out there. Any thoughts on that, Jason?
Yeah, so there are a lot of people using LearnDash and Paid Memberships Pro together. LearnDash themselves, they built an extension to integrate with Paid Memberships Pro. We also have built, this is where, depending on your needs, there's kind of different technical ways you can go about integrating LearnDash and PMPro. And there's like 3 versions now, and we're about to introduce a 4th version. And we hope to make it simpler. So there's definitely ways to integrate LearnDash and PMPro together. In terms of LearnDash offering like a membership add-on to LearnDash, similar to PMPro, we're working on a courses add-on for PMPro. I think this is natural, and I've actually talked to the LearnDash folks and other people who run LMS plugins that we're not worried about it in any business sense. I'm excited about it because I think it's just more options for customers. I think sometimes it makes sense to focus on your website as a membership site, and that's the core functionality. Is they're a member, and members also have access to courses. They also have access to forums. They also have access to like email lists and the blog and content and file downloads. And so sometimes you like a membership site is the focus of what you do, and there's these things that are different portions of what a membership is. And in that sense, it probably technically makes sense to start with Paid Memberships Pro and then use LearnDash for courses, but use like our courses add-on or our CPT add-on to integrate with LearnDash. Now, sometimes you start out as like a course website. And I actually think this, like if you're starting from scratch, like you've never sold anything online, I think it makes sense before you think of like a whole membership, like everything that's available to them, like start with one thing. And if a course is like the one thing that you can make pretty quickly, like start selling a course. So if your site kind of revolves around a course and the course is the central hub and the membership is just like one little component, then I think that's kind of the sweet spot for what LearnDash is producing, is like the course or many courses. What LearnDash allows you to do, it's pretty easy to create a bunch of courses with modules and lessons. And if a membership is, a smaller component of that, then you would probably use LearnDash and use their membership, option would probably be better. So it's kind of, there's going to be people using PMPro and not even using something like LearnDash, just locking a page down, or a PDF. Their course could be a PDF or just a protected page, and they don't really need LearnDash. In the same way, there's people who use LearnDash and they don't really need a membership, or maybe they just use their add-on for recurring payment. But then there's some sites that like both are so important, I need the full functionality of both suites, and they buy LearnDash and PMPro together.
I totally understand why a plugin would want that term membership more on their site, why a plugin like LearnDash would want to, appeal to that market, because it's growing so much. The number of sites online that are delivering maybe what was formerly an in-person service via a virtual method, that buzzword of a membership site, the dream of having recurring payments that make money when you sleep kind of thing. I think every plugin out in WordPress is looking at a way that they can tap into that and rank for that keyword. So it makes a lot of sense. I kind of second what you said, that it just depends on how robust of a membership offering you plan or have at the starting gate, and then what software you would pursue for that. So
yeah. And we're also trying to coordinate together as much as possible to make it easy to upgrade between, so if you start off with the LearnDash membership plugin and you're outgrowing it, we're going to try to make that transition to using PMPro as painless as possible. And in the other direction, the same way. If you start out with PMPro plus a lockdown page, and now you want to move to LearnDash, LearnDash is another one. How can we make that transition as seamless as possible? So yeah, I'm excited. It's good. I think we're just all making solutions for businesses and organizations to use. And it's cool.
Another thing that I thought about while you were both speaking is the fact that, say, for example, we are at our core a membership plugin. So we might start a course add-on, but we are never, I'm not going to say never, but the likelihood of us going very deep down the road of all the different courses and features of a course plugin that is on offer, the likelihood of us actually developing each and every single part of that really intricate course plugin is probably not going to happen, and the same would be true for someone who is adding a membership feature to their course plugin.
Another place where this happened is with form plugins. So, like Gravity Forms, Ninja Forms, Formidable, those kinds of form plugins, they all have a membership add-on or a payment add-on of some sort. And it's, limited in functionality for sure compared to Pay Memberships Pro. We have a plugin called Register Helper to collect fields at checkout, and you could technically use it to build a form, but you might as well use a form plugin if you're going to want to build a complicated form with dependencies and, tabs and lots of different fields and stuff. So that's another case where, for some solutions, like a form plugin with recurring payment module is enough because they don't really need some of the other functionality, and sometimes they need to integrate, and so it's this happens in the WordPress space. We all work together and we like each other.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. I'm going to change gears a little bit, and I'm just going to head over to David James, who had a follow-up question from the one that we previously answered. And David asks here, I have a website where members can download very large 3D mock-up files. Each file is probably around 50 meg plus. So I store them on Dropbox and create a shared link to download the file. And then David asks over here, is there any way to make my Dropbox links also membership protected with Paid Memberships Pro?
Yeah, this is a good question, David. So I don't think we have a specific write-up for Dropbox. We've done similar things for Amazon S3 in the past. And so this is another one of those things where, like, there's a lot of different, you could go really far to like try to keep people from sharing links. I think for your 3D models, you want to protect them. Sometimes if you have content, like you once a week you write, like a trading report for the stock market. That's the kind of content where, like, if it gets out, that's kind of okay. If people find the secret link for that, like, you probably want them to, because then they come into your orbit, they get used to it, and you're really charging not for the content itself, but for the easy access to it. Now, in the case of a 50 megabyte, 3D model file, if that link gets out, people don't have to use your site to pay for it anymore. So you need to protect that link. So anyway, the way this would work is, technically you can create a link on your WordPress site that is, that will redirect to Dropbox. And we've done this for S3, so I think we have like a post for how to do it. So it's technical, you'll have to follow up with us offline, but I guess I'll explain high level technical details behind it. But like, when people come to your website, it will check for their membership, and if they have the membership, then redirect them to Dropbox. Now, most people in that, they don't see the actual URL, they kind of just get redirected to Dropbox and the file downloads. If you were a technical savvy hacker, you could watch what's happening like in the debug bar of your browser and find the Dropbox URL. In that case, Dropbox might have this functionality Amazon S3 does, where it like generates one-time use links for the files. And so I bet Dropbox has an API for this, but it would have to be coded. If you're willing to switch to S3, like, you can reach out on the support forums, and we'll share kind of the plugins and GIFs we have to do that kind of process, where it will use the API for S3 to kind of request a one-time link that only works for like an hour, and then it sends that link to the member, so that if they share the link, it's not going to work.
I'm curious if we have integration for Download Monitor.
Oh, that does something similar.
And I'm curious if they have a Dropbox bridge.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of download plugins would allow like a native uploaded file, but would also integrate with file sharing services. So it may be possible that you could protect the download through Download Monitor, but it would handle that redirection for you, because we have protection on the download link that Download Monitor displays. So maybe that's like an offline thing. Just do a quick search of the Download Monitor website to see if they have a integration with Dropbox.
That's smart. I think that might be a good solution.
I hate the file sharing thing, because it's such a sad, that file could be downloaded but then sent to someone else. It's really hard to protect.
Yeah.
Once a file is down, it's very hard to protect even once it's downloaded.
Yeah, they could post it somewhere else. But another thing that some people do, so I mean, ask them for other users.
We're not good at being succinct.
Yeah, we're supposed to we keep chatting. It's hard. I was just gonna say, one thing I've seen some folks do is they just change the links every week.
Yeah.
So like, especially like personal trainers and stuff, I don't think this is a solution for David. Sounds like he has a bunch of files, but if you have like one main file that you're protecting, you change, you just change the link every week. And so if the link gets out, it's not, going to run your business. And it's funny, like, that feels like such a hacky thing. But it's, I like to throw those out there, because there are kind of, manual human workarounds to how these things work. And they're sometimes better than the technical solutions. The technical solutions are really airtight. And then no matter how far you go, someone's going to say, well, what if I use a VPN? Or what if I do this? Or what if I, and it's like, okay, you're right, or I just download the file and share it, or,
Right.
So, but yeah, hopefully, there's some stuff in there for David to look up.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. So let me have a quick look over here. This question came in. So this question goes, is there a way to build a folder hierarchy for your videos? Now, I'm assuming that is, I'm taking that question, and feel free to just elaborate more if I misunderstand it here, but I'm taking it as like building a sort of like a video library for people to view your content and, have a sort of a video library membership site. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And real quick, I think the short answer is it is possible with PMPro, and we have had a couple of our customers and members do this using Paid Memberships Pro and Vimeo, which they basically set up a really nice video library membership site. If you search setting up a video library on Paid Memberships Pro, then this will go into detail. We have a couple of case studies. But I don't know, have you got any other thoughts on video work and, memberships in general? I know it's a broad topic.
So it depends how you're posting them to your WordPress site. If you're posting them as a WordPress post or a custom post type called video, let's say, there is no inherent hierarchy in WordPress for that. If you're posting them as pages, WordPress does have a built-in hierarchy. I misspoke. If you are using custom post types, you could set your posts to be hierarchical. So if you did it that way, you would be organizing them under a parent page, let's say. So you create a parent page for each of your video types, and then you set that set each video as a child of them. And that's really like a UI question.
So just pages and subpages. You can also use categories and subcategories for posts.
So if you were using just standard WordPress posts, each video is a post. Be very strict about how you use your categories, and then maybe find a plugin that changes the view of your blog homepage to be category based. Kind of override that, or set up a custom homepage that
there are some themes that are meant for video, and they're going to show the categories of videos like in a more standard like YouTube playlist way versus like a blog category structure. So it's kind of like use the categories or subpages built into WordPress, and then that's really a question, like Kim said, of design and UI, finding the right plugins and themes that display that content correctly.
Isn't there a Vimeo plugin, Travis, that one of these sites uses?
Yes,
I can't remember.
I pulled it up over here, and it's called the Vimeography. Vimeography plugin. So you can download and install the Vimeography plugin, and I think they have a bunch of features that allows you to also display a kind of video library, if you will. So check them out. From what I understand, you can use Vimeo independently with Paid Memberships Pro to build a library, but this offers a few more, like, as you can see, well, it might be a bit small, but video gallery designs for your portfolios and membership sites. So you can actually use this Vimeography. So this is build a membership video library, and this is our case study of School Tool TV and how they actually went about building a video membership site. So definitely check this out. There's a lot of detail around that. Cool. Jason, Kim, how are you both feeling? Because I know that you're away, so I don't want to take up too much time. Can I go?
I'm fine. These could be 8 hours long, right?
Right. I'm not going to try.
Jason told me to only talk for 3 minutes. So maybe we're down to 6. We started at 8 minutes a topic.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to 6.
3 minutes per question. We're good.
3 minutes per question. Okay, awesome. So I see here Ansi actually joined in on the call. So Ansi's asking from an email campaign that came in from a Mr. Jason Mattison. So Jason asks how to choose what page can and cannot be seen in a bulk method for different tier members. So I'm imagining that Jason is asking about bulk restricting pages, etc. Have you got any thoughts on how to do that?
This is another commonly requested feature of, WordPress has a really cool tool, like from the post page, you can check a bunch and then go to bulk edit, and it brings up a separate screen that allows you to bulk change the category and some of the other settings on pages and posts. It'd be really awesome if you could bulk choose the membership restrictions from that same page.
I think there's a pull request.
There's a pull request working on it.
Yes.
So it needs to be
very old,
integrated. So there's not really a user-friendly way to do that. You have to open every page and do it. If you're working with posts, you can use categories to block that post. And so edit your membership level, choose which categories they have access to, and then you can bulk edit categories on posts. So that's one way to do it. Maybe like use posts instead of pages. But I don't know if I do it for just that reason. The answer that we give through support in our members is we get information from you and we give you either custom GIS or database queries to, do you have a post on it too? We have posts on all these things. It's great. How to write a database query to basically say, find all the pages on my site and restrict them by this level. There's also like a handy, our PMPro toolkit add-on has a feature that
clone.
Yeah, and we might build stuff into that toolkit to do some of this. But it allows you to clone it. So if you know you can say all the pages that require level 1, also set them to require level 2. And so that functionality is kind of in the toolkit to clone. You create a new level and you want all your existing pages to have the same access that an old one did. You can do that through the toolkit. But if you're starting from scratch,
we also have a recipe, lock down everything but the homepage, which
good.
If you decide that your entire site is private, except a handful of important pages that have to be open, your pages that
sales page, checkout,
yeah, your contact page,
contact, yeah.
So that's just a way to don't update anything, don't add membership requirements to anything, but use this single recipe that has a safe list of pages and okay pages, we call it, and then everything else is restricted per the terms of that gist. So that can be useful and a really quick shortcut for a large content site going lockdown.
Awesome. Cool.
Do people want a direct answer, do you think?
Yeah.
We should do this, like end it and say, like, but our top approach is X, or it's not always the case. I guess there always is many routes to an outcome and we're sharing all the routes. So that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. Stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's complicated.
So I think I only have a couple of more questions for you both. So if you are still watching, please send in your questions now. And if we have a bit of time, we'll try and get to as many as possible. So this question is coming in from Ineta, who says, is it possible to sell memberships to access a course and then sell more courses to that user without changing the membership? I'll be using the Buddy Boss and LearnDash add-on. No coding experience.
So I think the short answer here is to use our mmpu plugin. And that does work with the LearnDash integration. And so if you set up different levels for your memberships, for your course, different membership levels for your courses, they could buy multiple ones without losing access to it. But the default behavior of PMPro is when you check out for a membership level, it cancels all your previous. And that's what the mmpu plugin does. It stops that so you can have multiple memberships. So assuming that you're not using other add-ons of ours that aren't compatible with mmpu, you could just install the mmpu plugin and it would work for you. Another option is if they're one-time courses, like a one-time fee, to just use like the LearnDash checkout for their courses as like a separate thing. And then, or like we have a code just that integrates our add-on packages plugin with LearnDash to kind of do a one-time fee per course. So that's, there's a couple options, I guess.
I know there's an issue right now with the LearnDash integration that they wrote, that when a user buys a membership, like a higher tier, it kind of like removes them from their courses and puts them back in them at the higher tier. So if there's multiple courses attached to a level, and then maybe 5 for level 1 and 10 courses for level 2, they kind of get to like the starting gate again when they upgrade. So using one of these workarounds would be great. And I think you're right to say don't change their membership level, because that does affect kind of their enrollment in the courses that they've already begun potentially right now.
Yeah, we're working on that bug. Oops.
Cool. Okay, thanks for that. I'm going to just move on to this question that came in via email real quick. This is from Nikki, and Nikki's asking, due to COVID, I want to give my existing subscribers a few months free. How do I do that if they've already signed up and I want to keep their sign-up dates and terms intact. Have you got any tips for us to offer like a couple of months of free content for them?
We have an article that was recently posted, and it was in response to a lot of questions we were getting post-COVID, people having price sensitivity. They didn't want to lose these members. They didn't want to cancel them. They were willing to give them, a period of membership without, continuing to collect payment. So I think it's called pausing. It has the word pausing in the title. I don't know the exact title of the article, but the ability to pause is very gateway dependent. So hopefully you're using Stripe, which just introduced a very simple pause method for their subscriptions. So you would need to individually locate each member's subscription in your Stripe dashboard and click the pause button. If you make no changes to their membership on the Paid Memberships Pro side, nothing will happen. They will maintain access. Their subscription will be paused at Stripe, but Paid Memberships Pro won't cancel them or remove their access to anything. The article does include a gist, which is a small recipe you can use to also restrict their access if you want to. But it sounds like in this case, you just want to give them a free period of time and they can maintain access to the content on the site. So really look to the gateway. If the gateway has that feature per subscription, manually click that button and just maintain a list somewhere of the people and when you want to turn them back on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So there was a question coming in from, I believe, their name is Racy. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Jason, I see that you've been chatting to them online. Just real quick, would you like to address that question? I can just pull it up on the screen real quick.
Go ahead, pull it up for me, and then I'll.
Cool. So it sounds like Racy is asking about getting a warning that is coming up on their site. And the warning reads, we have detected that you're using a custom checkout page template for Paid Memberships Pro. This was recently changed and may need to be updated in order to display correctly. And then the second part is, if you notice UI issues after upgrading, see this free add-on to temporarily roll back to the table-based layout.
Could be in a theme.
While you resolve the issue.
Sorry, yeah. So that warning comes up when you're using an old template for the checkout page. So Paid Memberships Pro has a checkout page, and we have code in the plugin that says, here's how you should show the checkout page. Now, some themes or other plugins or custom code will say, hey, I don't want the default PMPro checkout page. I want it to look really nice with my theme. I want it to function a slightly different way. And so they can override the template of the checkout page. A few times we try to avoid this, but it happens. Like, we'll make a breaking change to the theme template that, like, if you're using an old version of the template, it may or may not work. And so,
we most recently did this,
like 2.0 or something.
Updated Stripe.
Oh, 2.1. Yeah, there was an update for Stripe
to V3.
Yeah. So that's probably like, was that 2.1? Okay, so what the answer should be for Racy is, then they may not know this because they're just a user, but probably their theme has a file called Paid Memberships Pro /template /checkout.php, something like that. It has a file in their theme that's overriding the PMPro checkout. So the short answer would be, reach out to your theme and see if there's an update to the theme or an update to that file that it should work with the new PMPro. If they had a custom theme developed, they'll have to find that old developer to get it to work. A lot of times what you can do, you might have to get scrappy, back up your website first. You can remove that file or deactivate the plugin, change themes or something. Like, you don't want to change themes just because, but if you're changing them anyway, if you remove that file, like, it should work. And that's the second part of that notice is, like, if you remove that file and all of a sudden you have UI issues, that's because your theme had changes that it needed in that file as well. So, but oftentimes you can remove that. It was something minor. Like, it's always, it's like, oh, we want, to use our font instead of the PMPro font or something. And when you remove it, it might look better and like, oh, it just works now. It's fine. But if you're using a theme with a custom template, you remove the file and it doesn't work anymore, you have to follow up with the theme developer to kind of get an updated version of the template that works nice.
Awesome. Cool. Racy, I hope that answers your question. If not, get in touch with us over on our website. Check out the Contact Us section, and then we can see if we can help guide you through this process a little bit better.
If you're using a premium theme, you can include the name of that theme in your contact, and we can also try to reach out to the theme author and give them a guide for how to keep their, nice looking template, but, bring it up to code with what's current.
Great. I've got 2 more questions for you at the moment, if you will take them, Jason and Kim.
Yeah.
So this question is coming in from Greg Robbins, also via email, the Executive Director of Beauty Council, and he asks, can I track any events PMPro members attend with another plugin, or general events in general? It would be good to keep track of members' activities beyond memberships. Now, I know that this is like quite an in-depth question, but have you got any thoughts on that?
Sorry.
Do you want me to read it?
Well, I'm just thinking we have an events integration. I'm not sure if their events are logged through their site if people join the event, or if they're more thinking of we had this online session, like I took a roll of who was there and I want to kind of tag those members for that activity. But if you're using an events plugin and it's integrated with our events integration, that would allow you to set events as members only. But most of those also have like registration and like attendance types tools. So I would suggest looking for an events plugin to help you do that. But if this is more of a, physical kind of, you're keeping roll and you want to just make notes on members,
you could add them as custom fields. And then kind of
if they were profile fields, like did you attend this event or not? And then segment on that field. There are plugins for CRM for WordPress that probably have this kind of like logging type of thing, like they did this, they participated in this, tag them this way. I haven't tried any. One that I've been looking at is HubSpot. There's other CRMs for WordPress that you could look to, but you could add maybe just like Jason said, a custom field or a member notes kind of field that you as admins could have a structured way that you notate.
It's hard to tell like what the real requirement is. This is one where we offer a couple solutions they could look into, but we'd have to why are you trying, what specifically are you trying to track, and why are you trying to track those events? What do you do with that information might kind of change the answer.
That makes sense. Great. I'm going to move on to the last question. And I think this question has come up quite a bit in the past. So this question is coming in from YouTube. Can you talk a little bit more about grandfathering, in quotation marks with a question mark at the end there? I watched the video. Why wouldn't I just create a new membership level and put the old grandfathered price to never expire? So for me, grandfathering is something that might not be a common term used all around. And maybe we can speak a little bit about that kind of moving over from one membership level to the next and some of the things that you need to think about. Do you both have any thoughts on that? And what it is, maybe we can start with that.
Yeah, I'll talk generally. You can try to figure out parse that second question. So grandfathering commonly is used in the context of the price that you charge for a product or a membership. So if you have a $10 per month membership, and later on you decide to charge $20 per month instead, if you wanted to grandfather in your existing members at their old rate, they would continue to pay $10 per month, and only new users would pay $20 per month. This is actually like a good idea in business, especially growing businesses. So it relates back to that, focus on the customers that want to pay you kind of sentiment. In a similar way, like if you're just starting out and you have 100 members at $10 per month, but you hope to one day have thousands of members, and you're increasing your price to $20 per month, those early adopters, keep them happy and don't charge them an extra $10 right now. focus on, the future customers. And we've done that with Paid Memberships Pro. So there's people who bought 5 years ago and they're grandfathered into the price that they bought before, because it's not really worth us trying to pull a little bit of money out of those users versus instead focusing on the higher number of new users. That's not always the case. Sometimes your business, like, hey, I can't afford to support that person or deliver content to them at the old rate. Like, they have to sign up at the new rate. Okay. Anyway, just the final part. By default,
he's going to say what I was going to say.
PMPro works this way. Okay. By default, PMPro works this way. When you set up a subscription, it's at the gateway. Sorry.
No, this is it.
Yeah, so it's $10 a month. The gateway says it's $10 per month. When you change the price on the membership level, it doesn't tell the gateway the price is now $20 per month.
We have an article that we're working on to clarify this.
Okay.
Because a lot of people ask, if I change the price of my level, what happens to the existing members?
Yeah.
And the answer is nothing.
Yeah.
They continue to pay what they were paying. Their expiration date, if they have one, is the same. The membership cycle is the same. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
If you had a membership level ID1 that used to be $200 a year and you changed it to $10 per month, some people who were members before will continue to pay you $200 per year for level 1, and all new people will start paying you $10 per month. So more often, people don't want that. They want to cancel everybody and make them sign back up and force them into the new price model.
And that's a tricky situation. Yeah, we were talking through ways to do that.
I think the grandfathering article is more designed for people who they used to be paying $100 per year. They expire. They want to join again, but the price changed. And you want to let those people join again at the price they used to be paying.
Yeah.
So that's what that article is designed for. It's designed to say, have they historically paid me less? Let them pay me less now if they join again.
Yeah.
Kind of extend that price to them forever or for a window of time to the future. But my gut is this person just wants to update the price of their membership level and is unclear of what's going to happen to existing members. So just update the price, same level, and nothing will happen to the old members. If you want to, for organizations on the back end, see who your older members were, then you could create a level that's new, make that the new pricing structure, and the old level just disable signups for new people. So you could keep your old price, level ID 1, lock new memberships from signing up, which is a setting on the edit level page, and then create a new level, new pricing. That's the only one that would appear on your levels page. And you would just direct people to that new level to sign up. So then you could kind of have a view of who was joined prior to my price change and who's kind of paying me at the new rate.
I like that last point of having a view of who signed up for level 1 and who signed up for level 2. Whenever a possible solution to a problem is create another level to track it, you kind of don't want to do it willy-nilly because it's a lot of work. It kind of, the assumption of the level is everywhere. Everything's set up, to ask what level it is. And I mean, we've seen sites with just tons and tons of levels, and it's confusing then to manage it at that point. But if that is the one time when you want to have different levels is like, oh, I want to know who this cohort of members is versus this other cohort and not get them mixed up. That's why, like, for example, the earlier question about trials, sometimes you want to separate your trial members from the full members. Maybe you don't want to give them access to everything because they're still trialing, or you just want to know, or you want to exclude certain emails from them or things like that. So it's good to keep them in separate levels. It's not really like a bad thing that, a con, it's a pro. But yeah, I think that probably talks to grandfathering and pricing enough for them to make a decision.
We will get that article out to make that point, kind of summarize this.
Yeah. And we make it clear. Maybe we should detect when the level is being changed.
We'll just transcribe minutes X to X in this video. We're good. No.
So you're just put a notice, be like, hey, just so you know, the 400 members at the old price are not affected. This is also true of discount codes. So if someone uses a discount code, they're locked in, so to speak, to that price of the discount code, no matter if you change the code or you change the levels. That's what that member's paying.
Awesome.
All right, cool.
Great. I think that is all of the technical questions that we have time for. I see we're coming up close to an hour. So since this is a Ask Me Anything session, I thought I could maybe sneak in one non-membership question for you off the cuff. unrehearsed. So Jason and Kim, you are currently on a little bit of a leave period now at the moment. So my question to you is, what have you got planned today after this webinar in West Virginia? What are you going to be doing? I hope you're not going to be working all day.
Oh,
there's a lake behind us and a hot tub with a view of the lake. So we'll do that again. We're debating it. Harper's Ferry is a pretty cool part of West Virginia. We're debating if we want to go out explore. Or we have enough food. We brought a lot of like really good food and wine. We popped the bottle of wine that you guys gave us from South Africa last night.
I think it was from Sherry and Andrew.
Oh, okay.
Cannon Cop.
Yeah, Canon Cop. Yeah, that's a good one.
We're hanging out, and I'm trying. Yeah, we'll try to do as little work as possible. We have our laptops with us, but there's some stuff we still keep tabs on.
There's a certain joy to working
from somewhere
else without the kids there,
and like the dogs and the house, like just reminding you of things to do.
Obviously, we've been doing this business for a long time, but before Paid Memberships Pro, we also, did WordPress development, generic website development together from sofas in our apartments, for years before kids. So we kind of we look back on it romantically. The time when you had your full brain.
Yeah. And even in the business now, we do different things. And so we're always like,
Dave,
and other people.
Tell us about Harper's Ferry. Where should we go?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to talk into doing work? I'm like, let's not do work. Let's go.
Travis is making me do work. No.
Okay. Oh man, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're not.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, Jason, Kim, I'm not going to keep you for too much. I'm not going to keep you for too much longer. Thank you for joining me today on this webinar episode. And for all of those who are watching, thank you for sticking through with us till the end. If we didn't get around to your question, I always like putting it out there to please get in touch with us over on the Contact Us page on our paidmembershipspro.com website, and we'll gladly try and help you over there. We were very lucky to get a lot of questions, so I hope that I got to most of them. If not, just reach out to us. And with that, I'm going to close up the webinar episode and say goodbye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.